Goldwing 1200. We're going to do some timing belts on it. They look like they have been replaced. They're a Napa belt. They look like they have been used a little bit. And I got some brand new ones. I'm just going to throw them on there. Be safe, not sorry. This one, I got to rotate the engine over, get it on top dead center. And then get these belts to where this cam's loose. Got a little tension or a little play on both sides. Then we can pull the bolt here and let this hang down a little bit, slide the belt off, slide the belt on. But while doing this, I am going to take and mark everything. The crank, the pulleys. That way I have a reference of where everything right now is at. That's after we do top dead center. So let's get that. We'll get everything on the up and up, and we'll pull some belts. Alright, so we got our marks lined up. We got a mark right there, and if you go across, there's a little tab right there. Those all match up. Same on the other side, right there. They match up. On the crank in the front, the buzz box is done. Good. Cleaning parts, valve covers. But the actual reference point for this is in the back. There's a plug. Let's see, right there. We can pull that off. We can get a reference of where the crank's at. But I don't think we're gonna have to go that far. I'm going to put a mark right there, up to that little spot that's there, just to show me where everything is at, so I know the crank's right. I'll put my own mark on the crank, the way it sits. So now this belt still has it's looser, or tighter I guess you could say, and looser on the bottom, but I want to make sure this isn't going to move, so I'm going to actually put a wrench on this, twist it a little bit just to see if it's got a neutral point to it, or if I pull this belt off it's going to roll. We don't want it to roll, because if it does, it could smack a valve with the piston and damage a lot of internal parts. So I'm going to see if there is a neutral to this. If there's not a neutral to this, I will leave the ratchet or the wrench on here, and I will pull the belt off while I have tension on it, just so it doesn't slip around, move, and all that good stuff. So, okay, that's where I'm at. Once I get this in its spot, I'm going to take out the one bolt. I'm going to loosen the other. This should just kind of slide down just a little bit, give me enough room to slide this all off. Then after this one, then I'm just going to move over to this one. I'm going to do the same thing. This one feels like it's in a neutral spot. I think we're good. But we have to get the first belt off to get the second belt off. But I got to mark all this right now. That's where we're at. Okay, so this one here has a little bit of tension on it. It's not too bad, but it rolls back when I let go. We're just looking for the center. I think in all actuality, that center might be just after the spot where it stops. So I'm going to loosen these bolts up. I'm going to let this thing move around a little bit, and I'm going to come back and try the same thing and see if it'll hit its little neutral spot. Okay, I got the belt off. Now if you look at my mark right now, it's right there. So we're a little off. The resting place is about 2 teeth off. Not bad. I held it with the ratchet. Just put a little slight tension on it backwards. Kept both ends of the belt loose. I pulled the spring on the tensioner, so that thing just sat there. I slid the belt off as I held the ratchet, and I let the ratchet move back very slowly so I didn't hurt any of the valves. It didn't snap back. It just kind of found its resting place, which is about 2 teeth. So not too bad. Now the other side, this one has about equal, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the ratchet on here, make sure it doesn't want to move in a certain spot, or be in a certain spot, so it doesn't snap back and damage things that it should not damage. The crank is still right on. I put a little mark in there, straight up, so that's all good. So onto this one. So this side is in its neutral place. Took the spring off, tensioner loosened it up. It moves up and down. It's kind of uppish right now, but loose on the bottom, loose on the top. I put the ratchet on here. I moved it back and forth just a little bit, and it held really nicely. It's in its spot. So the only one we really got to worry about putting it back together is this one, which would be the right side of the bike, left side of the bike. But looking at it the way I'm looking at it, that's the right side of the engine, left side of the engine, because I'm in the front of it. But actually that's the left side. Right side comes off first, left side second. So let me get this belt off there, and I'll start putting things back together and get you back in it. So I've come to realize I have to pull this crank sensor off here. Now this is the 86 model, it's fuel injected. It's got a crank trigger. And that tab and the crank trigger, since it's on number 1, are hitting close. And the belt will not fit between it. So I have to pull these little guys out. There's one here, there's one on the back side. They're 10 millimeters. A 1/4 inch socket will probably fit that, but I'm gonna go get a wrench and a 1/4 inch. So we'll see what happens. That's 10 millimeter. We'll pop that off and we'll get the belt.